Do you want to know how to create standout character designs without spending hours practicing anatomy? After almost 11 years as a 2D traditional and digital animator, reading hundreds of issues of comics, and thousands of chapters of manga, I've learned anatomy isn't the secret to memorable character design. I'll be showing you the common misconception that results in overfocusing on anatomy, what the key to great character design really is, and how can you apply a formula to create better character designs regardless of how well you can draw anatomy so that you're not wasting your time practicing drawing stuff that isn't going to get you closer to your goal. But first, why do so many artists believe that if they become gods at drawing anatomy, they'll be able to create amazing characters? When I took courses made by industry professionals on Colosso and Class 101 on character design, I noticed a pattern. I'd say 80% of courses begin with breaking down the anatomy of the human figure before teaching how to design a character. Anatomy is set up as the foundation to character design when it's not. What is character design? Here's a definition from CG Spectrum that I believe is spot on.
Character design in film and games is a form of concept art and involves visually defining a character's physical appearance, personality, behavior, and aesthetic. It's more than just a drawing. Characters play an essential role in telling a story or conveying a message.
Character design is storytelling. So what's the key to great character design if anatomy isn't it? Take a look at these two characters. What can you tell me about them just by looking at them? After watching over 30 videos on character design analysis, this is what I noticed. In the videos I watched, what gets talked about? How shapes and forms give a particular vibe to the character and an iconic look. How the character's silhouette should be clear so that you can pick them out of a crowd and know what they're doing at a glance. Expressions that clearly tell you what the character is feeling. Posing as another way to express the character's feelings, personality, and physicality. Proportions that implies what the character is able to do as well as stylization, because of the varying sizes of the character's features in relation to each other. Color choices that complement character personality. Clothing and accessories that help to tell us more about who the character is, what they do, their interests, skills, and even backstory. These elements draw their source from the principles of art and design, which is the key to character design. I'll leave links to videos that explain the principles really well in the description. So then, what place does anatomy have in character design? But before we answer that question, I have another one for you. What is anatomy? Anatomy is the study of the insides of something. You're learning what's what in the body. What it looks like, where it's located, and how it functions in relation to each other. It's definitely important, but how much do you actually need to know? Let's take a look again at Goku and Luffy. Based on Goku's anatomy, you can tell that he is well suited for the high-intense martial arts combat the series is known for. Anatomy can enhance the believability of what the character can and cannot do, whereas Luffy more often than not lacks accurate anatomy. This works because of his rubber powers. When he's not stretching parts of his body to incredible lengths, the details of Luffy's anatomy is just enough for familiarity. Anatomy is an element to the design that grounds the character to what's familiar to how things are in real life. The more realistic, the more you need to know anatomy. I believe the best practice is context-specific. What that means is drawing those details when you need to. Would you like me to show you an example of how I do it? Let's say I'm drawing a character that's sprinting. On Pinterest, I'll try and find a picture of what I want. As close as I can get it if not spot on. Next, I'll open up a tab to Sketchfab and find a 3D anatomy model. With this, I can look at the figure at any angle or distance to see how the muscles relate to one another. Then draw the figure. Another great reference website is Mixamo.com. With it, you can find a lot of 3D models and pair them with various animations. Like Sketchfab, you can look at the figure at any angle or distance. You can also pause the animation at any frame or change variables for different looks. The key to great character design is how well the design tells the reader as clearly as possible who the character is. But what's the formula you can apply to create better character designs regardless of your anatomy drawing skills? Do you remember that I mentioned this at the beginning of the video? After all 20 years of practice, trial and error, I've come up with this formula to help streamline the process. I'm calling it the Thanos formula. I shared it in my last video. The inspiration came from studying all 46 of Jesus's parables found in the books Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John of the Bible, as well as keeping in mind the principles of art and design that are key to character design. If you're working on a character design right now or still trying to figure it out, follow along and by the end of the video, you'll have a character designed and ready for your story. Do you know who your story is for? Take a moment now to think about it if you're not sure. This next story I'm making is for kids 5 to 10 with parents that love reading comics to their kids. What about your message? What do you want to share with your audience that you believe it's absolutely important for them to hear? For me, it's something that I've been repeating for my kids lately. The theme for my story is going to be,
for better or for worse, whatever you do matters. So choose wisely.
For this exercise, I'm going to work on the main character of the story. Do you know when your story will take place? I'm placing my story in the 90s. Having a clear idea of the time period is the first part of the formula. For the character you're designing, do you know how old they are? Every story Jesus told, his characters were always familiar and relatable to the audience. If the story was about them, then characters in the story would be them in some way. Because my story is for kids, the protagonist is going to be a 6-year-old boy. This is the second part of the formula, the character's age. In Chapter 3 of the book, The Shonen Jump Guide to Making Comics, there is an interview segment with some of Shonen Jump's top mangaka. When asked, what's your approach to creating strong, memorable characters? Eiichiro Oda, creator of One Piece says, distinct visual traits, which he says he gets from observing people in real life. Since the 90s is my time period, I immediately thought of Macaulay Culkin from Home Alone fame, but just cause I think it'll be funny, I'll reference his adult form instead for my design. This is the third part of the formula, ethnicity. What's going to be the ethnic background of your character? It doesn't have to be the same as your target audience, whatever works for your story. What about where they're from? Even if your character comes from a place you made up, think of real-world locations as inspiration. Using Home Alone again as a reference, my characters will be Americans from Chicago, Illinois. This the fourth part of the formula, nationality. Want to know a cool trick to drawing out the personality of your characters? This is the premise of my story.
When his parents have come to their wits' end, a defiant child must prove that he's truly a wild and free wolf and not a human boy to the family's pragmatic therapist, or he will lose all the freedom he has taken for himself.
Describing the child with a strong word like defiant may have already painted a picture as to what they look like, dress and behave. This is the fifth part of the formula, adjective. What is the vibrant descriptive word that captures the key personality trait of your character? Write it down once you have it. Having trouble? You can try just writing any adjective that comes close to what you want. Then use a thesaurus to find a word that's a perfect fit for the character. Now that you have a word that helps to define their personality, what do they do, and or what is the title/role that helps to shape or influence who the character is? The kid in my story obsesses over wolves so much that he wants to be one. This is the sixth and last part of the formula, station in life. This is the Thanos formula for my character.
A 1990s 6-year-old white American that's a defiant wolf-obsessed son.
What is your character's description? Write it in the comments if you've been following along. With the formula finished, are you having a clearer picture in your mind as to what your character looks like? Now let's get to the drawing. When thinking about the word defiant, other words come to mind like stubborn and aggressive. In regards to shapes, I'm thinking about using squares and triangles because of those words. But, I'm rounding the edges to soften the shapes because the character is a child. In looking at my reference, I can see a rectangle for the shape of his head and triangles for the eyes. I then went on to figuring out the proportions of the character. Proportion is basically size relationships and ratios. For example, what usually works for child characters is having the facial features sit on the lower third of the face, rather than halfway or the upper third. What I do is throw down the shapes to represent the head, torso, arms, hands, legs and feet. For appeal, I play with which parts of the figure are big, medium size or small. For the details, this is where the anatomy knowledge comes in, but remember, it just needs to be enough for whatever it is you're drawing to at least be believable. There is a principle of animation called solid drawing. This is what I'm keeping in mind as I draw. What that is giving the 2D drawings the illusion of being in 3D space. I'll leave a video link in the description of a great exercise to practice this. Because the boy is wolf-obsessed, I wanted to highlight that. I found references for the parts of the wolf costume. I was thinking of putting the boy in a onesie, but in thinking about defiant again, not wearing clothes works so much better, so he just runs around in his underwear. Now for his pose, I wanted to capture the aggression of being a feral kid. Feral made me think of X-Men's Wolverine for reference. I looked for poses where Wolverine is hunched over and ready to fight as inspiration for my wolf boy. I wanted to get a nice line of action that's straight and diagonal from the character's back foot to the head to really get a sense that wolf boy's ready to scrap. Another principle from animation that I tried to apply is exaggeration. I was doing what I could to push the pose, but here I can see a weakness in drawing the form. I wanted to get a twist in the chest and a counter twist in the hips to make the pose even more dynamic, but I don't think I succeeded. This will be something to look out for next time. To make the pose readable, I made sure the silhouette was nice and clear. In the end, I didn't get Macaulay Culkin's likeness for Wolf Boy, but that's okay. I still like how it looks, even if he reminds me of Naruto a little bit. It's great to know how to create proper characters for the stories we want to tell, but perhaps you're still struggling with how to break your characters out of stiff, dull, and lifeless poses. This next video may help you with that. Thanks for watching and God bless.